I've read over 1,000 books about productivity and peak performance, and these 33 are the most powerful, life-changing of them all. And they're all summarized in less than 1 minute each. So let's go! Peak Mind by Amishi. What if you could train your brain to focus like a Navy SEAL? That's basically what Amishi discovered when she ran focus experiments on soldiers and executives. The main finding was that just 12 minutes a day of attention training can significantly boost your working memory and ability to stay focused under pressure. And no, you don't need to chant mantras on a mountain. Just sitting quietly and bringing your attention back to the breath literally strengthens your brain's focus muscle. It's like doing bicep curls, but for the mind. What you have to do is to block off 20 minutes a day to do breath-focused meditation. Now, every time your mind wanders and you catch it, that's the rep. Use this before high-pressure tasks like deep work blocks, sales calls, or public speaking. Deep Work by Newport. This book shows that our brains have two networks: the task-positive network for focused work and the default mode network for mind wandering. Every time you switch between tasks, you're forcing a neurological gear shift that can take up to 23 minutes to complete. And this book argues that the real winners are those who can go deep. Newport pretty much says that focus is a superpower, but almost nobody is using it. The best results, whether it's building a business, writing a book, or solving a complex problem, come from working in long, distraction-free blocks. He's basically saying, turn off your phone, close all of your tabs, and go monk mode. First, schedule 60 to 90 minute deep work blocks where your phone is off and literally no one can interrupt you. Second, create a ritual around it, which means same time, same place, same goal. And your brain will adapt through neuroplasticity. And three, limit your shallow work, for example, email or admin work, to 1 or 2 hours max and batch it. The Molecule of More from Daniel Z. Lieberman and Michael E. Long. This book explains how dopamine is actually what makes you chase goals, dream about the future, and get addicted to everything from TikTok to productivity porn. It's why you get excited about starting projects and bored halfway through. Lieberman explains that dopamine isn't about pleasure, it's about pursuit. But when you overuse it, you just chase non-stop. But here's how to weaponize your dopamine for peak productivity and success. First, notice when you're dopamine hunting. For example, if you're starting 5 different projects, switching tasks, or checking your phone every 30 seconds. Practice grounding in the here and now by focusing on what's already done and not what's next. And then intentionally delay gratification. I know that's obvious, but finish the damn thing before you even reward yourself. Your Brain at Work by David Rock. Imagine your brain is a theater. Your attention is the spotlight, your mental energy is the stage crew, and your prefrontal cortex is the director. This book explains how most people blow their mental energy doing the wrong tasks at the wrong time. Like, for example, checking email at 9 a.m. when your brain is in peak problem-solving mode. David Rock teaches you how to structure your day to match your brain's rhythms for peak productivity. Do your most important thinking before 10 a.m. when your mental energy is at its highest. Batch similar tasks together and make decisions in advance by planning tomorrow's priorities tonight. This preserves mental energy for what matters most instead of wasting it in trivial choices. And finally, only work on one task at a time. Your brain wasn't designed for multitasking and it's literally destroying your productivity. Hyperefficient by Mithu Storoni. What if your constant brain fog isn't laziness, but poor neural recovery? This book shows how stress, inflammation, and screen addiction fries your focus and how to reverse it. Dr. Storoni breaks down how movement, light, and task structuring can make your brain clearer, faster, and sharper. It's like a biohacker's guide to rebooting your mental operating system. Walk it off, literally. Movement reduces cortisol and resets your brain's ability to refocus. Regulate your light exposure, which means in the morning you want to view bright blue light, while at night you want it to be warm and dim. That's exactly how your brain recovers. And break your tasks into mini goals with quick rewards to keep your dopamine flowing sustainably without crashing or burning out. The Distracted Mind by Adam Gazzaley and Larry Rosen. Multitasking is a myth that's literally rewiring your brain for distraction. Gazzaley's neuroscience research reveals that people who think that they're good at multitasking are actually the worst at it. You see, every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a switching cost, which is a brief period that performance drops like crazy. It's like your brain is constantly rebooting instead of running smoothly. The average entrepreneur checks email about every 6 minutes, which means they're never actually focused on anything. What this book advises you to do is to practice monotasking, which means working on one thing for set periods. Start with 25-minute focused sessions. If you think of something else, write it down and return to your task. After 30 days of this brain training, you'll notice dramatically improved focus. because your attention span isn't actually broken, it's just been trained for distraction. Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. If you're watching this, you're probably not sleeping enough and it's destroying your brain. In fact, about 1/3 of US adults are chronically underslept. Walker's research shows that even one night of poor sleep reduces your ability to form new memories by 40%. But what most people don't understand is that sleep isn't just recovery time, but it's when your brain literally cleans itself. During deep sleep, your lymphatic system flushes out toxic proteins that accumulate during waking hours. Now, if you're trying to get away with less sleep, it's like essentially trying to run a high-performance engine with a clogged filter. You want to keep your bedroom between 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, completely dark, and only use it for sleep. No screens 1 hour before bed, and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This trains your circadian clock for consistent restorative sleep so that you can operate at your 100% the next day. Most people think they can hack sleep, but unfortunately, you just can't outsmart 3.8 billion years of evolution. The Organized Mind by Daniel Levitin. The reason you can make smart business decisions all day and then come home completely fried and spend 20 minutes staring at your fridge is because of something that psychologists call decision fatigue. Levitin shows you how to organize your external environment to reduce cognitive load and preserve mental energy for what actually matters. You want to designate specific places for important items and always return them there. Batch similar decisions, for example, choose your clothes the night before and meal prep on Sundays. And use the one-touch rule for emails, which means you either read, respond, file, or delete immediately. Now, this isn't about being obsessive, but it's about freeing up mental bandwidth for creative thinking instead of remembering where you put your keys. Brain Rules by John Medina. This book explains how exercising is pretty much like a smart drug. It increases BDNF production, which is essentially a fertilizer for your neurons, by up to 300%. People who exercise regularly have better memory, faster processing speed, and enhanced creativity. But the crazy part is that you don't need to become a bodybuilder to get these benefits. Just 30 minutes of moderate exercise 3 times a week can literally upgrade your cognitive performance, focus, and productivity. Now, if you want results immediately, take a 10-minute walk before important mental work, or just do 20 jumping jacks before your next focused session. I know that it sounds ridiculous, but the neurochemical boost is real and measurable. Your brain evolved to work best when your body is moving, so take advantage of it. Make Time by Knapp and Zeratsky. These Google designers realized something that most productivity gurus miss. The problem isn't that we don't have enough time, it's that we don't protect time for what matters. Instead of trying to optimize everything, they discovered something weird but super effective: to choose one highlight every day and design everything around protecting it. Every morning, pick a 60 to 90 minute task that will make the day feel successful. Everything else is secondary. Use laser tactics like putting your phone in airplane mode and energize tactics like taking a walk. Now look, this isn't about the perfect productivity systems, but it's about consistently making time for what actually moves your life forward instead of just staying busy with bullshit that just makes you feel productive but doesn't actually accomplish anything meaningful. The Circadian Code by Dr. Satchin Panda. Your body runs on a master clock that controls everything from hormone production to cognitive performance, and most people are completely f***ing it up. Panda's research shows that it's not just about when you sleep, it's about when you eat and when you expose yourself to light. And in his book, he created a protocol that can take your mental performance to the next level. Eat all meals within a 10 to 12 hour window. Get 15 minutes of bright light within 30 minutes of waking up, and dim lights 2 hours before bed. This synchronizes your circadian rhythms for peak cognitive function. Most people see dramatic improvements in energy and focus within just 1 week, and this happens because when your circadian rhythms are aligned, your brain operates like a Swiss watch. But when they're misaligned, even simple tasks feel impossible. So stop fighting your biology and start working with it. The Power of When by Michael Breus. Not everyone's brain peaks at the same time, and trying to force yourself into the wrong schedule is like swimming against the riptide. Breus identifies 4 chronotypes based on genetic variations in your circadian clock. If you naturally wake up before 6 a.m. and you feel best in the early morning, you're a lion. If you follow conventional 9-to-5 schedules easily, you're a bear. If you prefer staying up late and struggle with mornings, you're a wolf. If you're a light sleeper with irregular sleep patterns, you're a dolphin. Now look, waking up at 5 a.m. and taking a story for your entrepreneur friends to see that you're locked in is cool, but instead of waking up and working at times that feel impressive to your ego, the key is to schedule your most important work during your chronotype's peak focus hours. Getting Things Done by David Allen. Your brain is for having ideas, not storing them. And most people are using their mental RAM for the wrong shit. Alan's insight is simple but insanely effective. Every unfinished task in your mind creates a cognitive load that drains your focus and creativity. What you need to do is to carry a capture tool. I personally used to do this for this and write down every task, idea, or commitment immediately. Use the 2-minute rule, which means that if it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. If it takes longer, either delegate, defer, or delete. And keep separate lists for different types of tasks. For example, content, team, client work, or personal. This external brain frees your mind for creative thinking instead of random tasks, and it will allow you to get all the mental clutter out of your head so you can actually think clearly. And if you're an entrepreneur trying to optimize your health, focus, and productivity to the max so you can make more money and get more done in less time, click the first link in the description where I show you how we can build you a custom plan to get more done in 1 month than most people do in a year. Neurofitness by Rahul Jandial. Jandial, who is a neurosurgeon, reveals that cognitive fitness isn't about doing crossword puzzles. It's about strategically challenging your brain to build neural pathways and cognitive power. And in the book, he creates a protocol that might allow you to drastically improve your mental performance and productivity. Learn something new for 20 minutes daily to build neural pathways. Practice mindfulness meditation for 10 minutes to strengthen the focus muscle, and challenge yourself with puzzles or complex problems to create cognitive reserve that protects against mental decline. The key is to rotate between different types of learning like language, music, or physical skills to maximize neuroplasticity. Most people think that you get born with a certain level of intelligence, but the truth is that your brain can literally rewire itself at any given age. The only catch is that you have to actively challenge it with new complex tasks and not to just mentally masturbate. Rest by Alex Soojung and Kim Pang. Most entrepreneurs hear the word rest and freak out, but this book reveals that rest is a skill that actually enhances your creativity and problem-solving abilities. Pang explains that the most productive people don't work more hours, but instead they work intensely, then rest strategically. For example, Darwin took daily walks that led to breakthrough insights. Steve Jobs was famous for holding walking meetings because it helped his ideas flow more freely. Or even Mark Zuckerberg, who regularly takes walking meetings with Facebook executives and potential hires because it allows him to be more creative and focused. Your brain's default mode network is most active during rest, making connections and generating insights that focused work can't produce. So after intense mental work, engage in active rest. For example, walking, light exercise, or hands-on hobbies. Avoid passive activities like TV or scrolling social media, and keep a notebook during rest periods to capture insights. And yes, in the grand scheme of things, you might be working less hours in total, but this strategic rest multiplies your productivity and allows you to get more stuff done in less time the next day. Dopamine Nation by Lembke. Billion-dollar companies and elites have hired neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists to engineer your every device, even the ones you work from, for maximum distractions. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that drives motivation and reward seeking, but modern life is flooding your brain with more dopamine than it was designed to handle. Lembke explains that we're living in an age of dopamine overload, where every notification, every scroll, and every instant gratification is desensitizing your brain's reward pathways. As a result, you need increasingly intense stimulation just to feel normal, and productive work feels boring by comparison. So practice strategic dopamine fasting, where you eliminate high stimulation activities for a set period of time to reset your reward sensitivity. Start with a few hours and work up to a day weekly. The goal here isn't to completely eliminate pleasure and live like a hermit on a mountain, but to recalibrate your brain so that meaningful work feels rewarding again, instead of requiring constant external stimulation like a monkey to stay motivated. The Productivity Project by Chris Bailey. Bailey spent a year experimenting with every productivity technique imaginable, from waking up at 5:30 a.m. to meditating 35 minutes daily to working 90-hour weeks. And his conclusion was that most productivity advice is bullshit because it focuses on the wrong things. You see, the most productive people don't optimize everything, but instead they focus on 3 pillars: time, attention, and energy management. Chris Bailey recommends to plan your day the night before to manage time, eliminate distractions during focused work to protect attention, and schedule important work during peak energy hours. Use the rule of 3. Identify 3 things to accomplish today and 3 for this week. week. This prevents overwhelm while ensuring progress on what actually moves the needle. The key insight from the book is that productivity isn't about doing more things, but about doing the right things when your brain is optimally equipped to handle them. Essentialism by McKeown. This book reveals that the most productive people aren't those who do more, but they're those who do less but better. We live in a world that rewards busyness over results, and most people are drowning in non-essential activities that feel important but don't actually matter. Before saying yes to anything, ask, is this the most important thing I could be doing right now? Use the 90% rule. If an opportunity isn't a 90% yes, then it's instantly a no. This creates space for what truly matters instead of being busy just for the sake of being busy. Having more options often lead to worse decisions and less satisfaction. Slow Productivity by Newport. The productivity culture has created a hamster wheel of pseudo work that's making everyone miserable and less effective. Newport advocates for what's called slow productivity, doing fewer things, working at a natural pace, and obsessing over quality instead of quantity. His 3 principles are to do fewer things by limiting work in progress to 3 major projects max, work at a natural pace by alternating between intense work periods and recovery, and respecting seasonal rhythms instead of grinding year-round, and obsessing over quality by spending extra time perfecting important work rather than rushing to check boxes. And look, this isn't about being lazy, but it's about sustainable excellence that produces better results with less burnout. The Power of Engagement by Loehr and Schwartz. What if I told you that energy and not time is your most precious resource? These performance coaches work with world-class athletes and discovered that peak performers don't manage time. They actually manage energy in 4 dimensions: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Work in 90-minute sprints followed by 20-minute recovery breaks. During breaks, do something completely different. Walk, stretch, or even meditate. Elite athletes don't work longer, but instead they work at a higher intensity with strategic recovery. Track your energy levels hourly for 1 week to identify your natural peaks and dips, and schedule your demanding work during peaks and more admin and routine tasks during your dips. But the key insight that changed everything was that you can't sustain high performance without intentional recovery. The One Thing by Keller. Your brain can only focus at one cognitively demanding task at a time. Keller's research shows that people who focus on only one priority are 50% more productive than those who juggle multiple priorities. Here's his focusing question that cuts through all the noise. What is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Ask this daily and weekly, and then time block your calendar around the answer. Protect 4 hours daily for your most important work, and everything else gets scheduled around this non-negotiable block. This technique will allow you to do one thing at a time with insane focus until it's done. The Leading Brain by Friederike Fabritius and Hans Hagenman. You can literally hack your brain chemistry for peak performance, and most people have no idea these levers exist. These neuroscientists reveal how to exploit 4 key neurochemicals: dopamine for drive, acetylcholine for focus, GABA for calm confidence, and endorphins for resilience, by creating something called DOSE protocol. Before important work, set a specific micro goal to trigger dopamine. Spend 2 minutes writing down 3 things you're grateful for to boost serotonin. Do 10 push-ups to release endorphins, and practice deep breathing to activate GABA. Now, I know this sounds like woo-woo bullshit, but it's actually grounded in neuroscience. Understanding these chemical levers lets you engineer optimal mental states at will, instead of hoping you'll feel motivated or focused when it's time to perform. A Mind for Numbers by Barbara Oakley. Learning is about using the right mental models, and most people are doing it completely wrong. Oakley explains that there are 2 thinking modes: focused, which is concentrated attention on specific problems, and diffuse, which is relaxed, big picture thinking that makes connections. More importantly, she's developed a technique that allows you to learn fast and also be hyper productive when you work. How it works is, when you're stuck on a problem, work intensely for 25 minutes in focused mode, and then take a 5-minute break doing something completely different to activate diffuse mode. This break allows your subconscious to make connections that your conscious mind can't see. Use the Feynman technique, which means explain concepts in simple terms like you're teaching a child, and if you can't do that, you don't actually understand it, you just memorized it. This reveals gaps in your understanding that you didn't know existed. As a result, you'll be able to learn faster and retain more information so you can master new skills quickly and stay ahead in a rapidly changing world. Limitless by Jim Kwik. Your brain is not fixed, and the idea that you're a not learning person is complete bull. Kwik teaches the FAST method for accelerated learning. Forget limiting beliefs about your abilities, act on what you learned immediately, manage your state, which means your energy and focus, and teach others what you've learned. Before learning sessions, do 2 minutes of deep breathing to optimize your mental state. Take notes by hand instead of typing because it forces deeper processing. Review new information within 24 hours to move it from short-term to long-term memory. This will allow you to absorb and apply new information at lightning speed so you can continuously upgrade your skills and adapt to any challenge that comes your way. Grit by Angela Duckworth. Having talent is cool, but it's overrated, and it's even probably the reason why you're stuck. Duckworth's research with West Point cadets, spelling bee champions, and elite athletes reveals that grit, meaning the combination of passion and perseverance, is a better predictor of success than IQ, talent, or socioeconomic background. And she talks about a specific technique that allows you to build grit naturally. The way it works is by first identifying what she calls your ultimate concern, meaning your highest level goal that gives meaning to everything else. Then connect daily tasks to this bigger purpose. Use the hard thing rule. Commit to one challenging activity every day and stick to it for at least 1 year, even when it gets difficult. Practice deliberately by focusing on your weakest skills and pushing beyond your comfort zone. This will allow you to build grit so that you can make hard work feel easier and get the job done no matter what consistently. The Willpower Instinct by Kelly McGonigal. Willpower isn't a character trait you're born with. It's a biological function by your prefrontal cortex and your basal ganglia that can be strengthened like a muscle. But relying on willpower is also a losing strategy. McGonigal reveals that the most successful people don't have more willpower, but instead they design their environment to make good choices automatic. Practice small acts of self-control, like using your non-dominant hand or sitting up straight. Meditate for 5 minutes daily to strengthen your prefrontal cortex, and get 7 to 8 hours of sleep because willpower depletes through the day and it only fully restores with adequate rest. This will allow you to make better decisions effortlessly so you can stay focused on what matters without constantly battling distractions or bad habits. Drive by Daniel Pink. This book explains how external rewards actually decrease performance for creative cognitive work. Pink identifies 3 intrinsic motivators that create sustainable high performance. Autonomy, which is control over your work; mastery, which is getting better at meaningful skills; and purpose, which means connecting to something bigger than yourself. Most people are chasing money, status, and recognition, but the truth is that these extrinsic motivators only work for simple and mechanical tasks. When? By Daniel Pink. Timing isn't everything. It's actually the only thing, and most people are completely ignoring it. Pink shows that we all experience predictable daily rhythms that dramatically affect our cognitive performance. Most people hit their peak in the morning, experience a dip in the afternoon, and recover in the evening. But what's crazy is that we schedule our most important work randomly instead of syncing it with our biological rhythms. The way Pink's protocol works is to first schedule analytical work, for example writing or problem solving, during your peak hours, admin tasks during your dip, and creative work during your recovery period. Take a restorative break during your afternoon dip, for example a 10 to 20 minute walk or a nap can reset your energy. This will allow you to work with your biology instead of against it, so you can maximize your cognitive performance and get more done in less time. Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book shows you how to completely change your life with the least amount of effort possible. The most powerful changes come from tiny adjustments that compound over time. And the harsh truth is that your current results are a lagging measure of your current habits. Because in reality, you get what you repeat, not what you do once. James' system focuses on 4 laws. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. The real breakthrough isn't about the habits themselves, but it's about becoming the type of person who does those things. Instead of saying, I want to write a book, say, I am a writer, and ask, what would a writer do today? This will allow you to build an identity-based system that creates lasting change so you can achieve your goals through small and consistent actions rather than relying on willpower and motivation. Livewired by David Eagleman. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on your experiences, and most people have no idea how much control they have over this process. In this book, Eagleman shows that neuroplasticity isn't just for recovering from brain injuries. It's how your brain optimizes itself for whatever you repeatedly do. Every skill you practice, every room you spend time in, every thought pattern you reinforce is literally sculpting your neural networks. Weekly, expose yourself to something completely new. Take a different route, try a new skill, or engage with unfamiliar ideas. Challenge yourself with increasingly difficult tasks in your field. Seek feedback actively and adjust accordingly. This will help you to literally rewire your brain for enhanced cognitive abilities so you can continuously upgrade your mental performance and adapt to any challenge. Smart Moves by Carla Hannaford. This book tells you how sitting at a desk all day day is literally making you dumber. Hannaford's research shows that physical movement activates multiple brain regions simultaneously, enhancing memory, creativity, and problem solving. Using opposite sides of your body literally integrates your brain hemispheres for optimal cognitive function. And to apply this protocol, before important mental work, you need to do 2 minutes of unilateral movements, like, for example, marching in place while touching opposite elbow to knee. During study breaks, do brain gym exercises like figure 8 arm movements. Take walking meetings when possible, and even fidgeting while thinking improves mental performance by increasing blood flow to the brain. The Upward Spiral by Alex Korb. Depression and peak performance exist on the same neurochemical spectrum, and most people don't realize how much control they have over this brain chemistry. Small positive actions create upward spirals in your neurotransmitters. Gratitude increases dopamine, exercise boosts BDNF, and social connection releases oxytocin. But the opposite is also true. Negative thought patterns create downward spirals that make everything feel harder. Write down 3 things you're grateful for to boost dopamine. Do 10 minutes of exercise to boost BDNF and endorphins, and have 1 meaningful social interaction to release oxytocin. These activities will allow you to engineer positive mental states and build resilience so you can maintain high performance even during stressful periods and bounce back faster than ever from setbacks. Lights Out by T.S. Wiley. Artificial light is destroying your sleep and sabotaging your cognitive performance and productivity. Our 24/7 illuminated world disrupts melatonin production, cortisol rhythms, and cellular repair processes that are essential for brain function. You see, we evolved to sleep when it's dark and be awake when it's light. But modern life has completely fucked up this ancient system. To fix this, install blue light blocking glasses for evening screen use. Use blackout curtains or an eye mask for complete darkness when you're sleeping, and get a sunrise alarm clock that gradually increases light in the morning. In the evening, switch to red or amber lighting 2 hours before bed, and get morning sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up to reset your circadian clock. This will allow you to optimize your natural sleep and wake cycle so you can wake up feeling sharp and energized instead of groggy and tired. And if I could add one lesson as number 34, it would be to increase your brain's battery, or the amount of energy you can put out each day. And there's actually a strategy that I've been doing recently that allows me to work 8 to 12 hours a day with unbreakable focus. So watch this video next where I show you what it is, how it works, and how you can use it to get more done next month that most people do all year.